Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to my channel. This is Awaken Authentic Self, and I am Jill Nicole. If you are watching me for the first time, I would like to thank you for joining today. I'd like to thank my subscribers. Thank you for always supporting the channel. Please don't forget to hit that like button as you come in on this video. And any new subscribers, love to have you here. Please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you will get a notice each time I drop a new video. So today's message I'd like to talk about is they're in a secret competition with you, but losing. They're in a secret competition with you, but they're losing. Oh, this one I'll tell you. People. I like to think that, 95%, if you really think about it, 95% of a person's problems is normally because of people. It is because people are at the root of other people's oppression, other people's problems, other people, blocking their pathway some kind of way. It is the people in society who make it hard for others, right? And maybe 5%, 5% is going to be, due to other reasons. But about 95% of a person's issues in life will be because of people. Now think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute, because if you figured this people thing out, if you learn how to deal with people and navigate difficult people and people that have these challenging personalities, people who have demon possessed, right? If you can conquer this, then 95% of your problems will be gone or alleviated. How about that? How about it? So today, let me enlighten you. And I'm sure many of you can attest to this, that people will be in a secret competition with you and they still will be losing. So let me give you some examples about that. Now, I love to take things back to the Bible, and then I'm gonna take it back to the Bible, and then I'm gonna try to allow you all to see how it can relate in your life today. See, because I believe God had man, the disciples, to write the Bible, to give man every single example of an issue in life, something that can happen, to show man how they can actually deal with a certain matter. What would be the correct way to deal with it? How can we deal with these challenges? How can we deal with these burdens? How can we deal with these things? How can we deal with these envious people according to the Bible? How would Jesus do it? And so I want to talk about this because during my last video, there was someone who came into the comments. Now, look, you all can comment however you would like. You do not have to agree with the topic. You do not have to agree with what I say, but keep it respectful and stay on topic. Because if it's not respectful and if it's not related to the topic, I'm going to remove the comment. So I had someone during my last video make a comment, and the comment's not there any longer because, see, I don't tolerate these things. And he talked about, how I don't know the word, and how, I should be, keeping the Sabbath day holy. He's a Seventh-day Adventist. And I don't know much about that religion. But for many of you who have been on here and been a subscriber for a while, you know that in the past, I post pretty much on any day of the week, because this is not a religious organization, right? So I post pretty much any day of the week, but lately I've been posting on Sunday. And that's simply because I have been busy during the week. You know, I have a busy life, busy work life. It's been picking up. And so Sunday has pretty much been the only time for right now that I've been able to get on here, right? And I really shouldn't even have to explain that because it doesn't matter what day of the week you come out and talk about the Lord. You know, the Bible does not talk against that. And I'm going to prove it to you. And so I thought about why? Why do people do that? Why do people nitpick at such petty things? See, and they try to take away from the focus of what the topic was really all about. You know, because see, that's how Satan will do. You will get a seed, you know, a seed from the Lord. And as soon as you get that seed, the enemy will try to uproot it and take it out so that it does not grow, right? And so we have this person in the comments distracting people, talking about something that is irrelevant to the topic. And I even said, what does this have to do with the topic? And so I told him, I said, you know what? You seem like the Pharisees in the Bible who, you know, challenged Jesus for healing a blind man on the Sabbath day. Now, can you imagine challenging the Lord, challenging Jesus because he is doing God's work on a certain day? Like, whoever came up with that? See, people will take things from the Bible and they will twist them and they will make them religious and they will make them traditional instead of really understanding the context, right? Because see, Genesis talks about how when God created the earth and how he said to keep the Sabbath day holy, right? Keep it holy for worship and rest, right? So what makes people nitpick and challenge everything that you say, everything that you do? Is it not jealousy? Is it not competition? It's the spirit of competitiveness in them. And see, if they want to be competitive and want to critique what you do, why don't they go and do it and see how good they are at it, right? And see, people will be envious of things such as your anointing. They will be envious about your personality, about who you are, about your ability to love, your ability to give, your ability to be liked. It's not just about the money and fame and who likes you. You know, people will be envious of the most less likely thing you would think. So I thought about that and I went to that scripture and I wrote it down in my notes because I wanted to talk about it. Okay. So if you want to go and follow me in John, the Bible, John chapter 9, verse 13, it says, they brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. Now the day on which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes was a Sabbath. Therefore, I can never read my own handwriting. Therefore, the Pharisees also asked him how he had received sight. He put mud on my eyes, the man replied, and I washed, and now I see. So let's just think about this. Let's see if you can just, for a minute, put yourselves in the shoes of the blind man. Now, there's a man, he was blind from birth, never was able to see, never was able to see his parents, never was able to see his family, couldn't see the sun. He couldn't see the stars. He couldn't see the grass. He couldn't see the trees. And he's been that way since birth, right? Nobody paid him any attention before, right? Everybody was okay with his state, with his weakness, with his handicap. Didn't nobody care. But as soon as Jesus encountered this man and approached the man and healed him, the only thing that the Pharisees could find that was wrong was that he healed this man on the Sabbath day. So this cannot be from God, they said. This cannot be from God. So if you go on, it says, some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. Now see, people are being religious about things, and I believe sometimes people do that in order to distract themselves from doing what really the Bible is saying to do. Now, God says to worship and keep the day holy and rest. Now, how would doing the Lord's work be unholy? You can do God's work on a Monday. You can do his work on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, right? And you will still be honoring the Sabbath day, right? Because worship is about holiness. And this is what these Pharisees didn't understand. So they wanted to nitpick at Jesus, see, because really they were envious of Jesus because they could not heal anybody. So instead of being, appreciative of Jesus, grateful, happy that this man had his sight, completely healed, the only thing these people could think about was, oh, this man is not from God. God healed him on the Sabbath day, on the holy day. When the very act of what Jesus did was holy. He had the faith to heal this man who was blind since birth. So, how many of you encounter this in your own daily lives? You will actually be doing something right. And you will have people around you that will nitpick at you and find something irrelevant, to what you're doing. And you want to just ask, like, where's that come from? And what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Because this is how people will do, because people are competitive. And a lot of people have not learned since a child that we're only needing to keep competitiveness in certain areas. For example, if you have a son, a boy child, a lot of times these boys will be competitive. They will play sports. And in that arena, competitiveness is healthy, right? But when you start to tap into what other people got going on in their life that does not concern you, and you start, stirring over your car into somebody else's lane, you're going to crash because you have no business being there. And you need to look before you make that swerve, before you make that turn, right? You need to look before you step on somebody else's toes, because you have no right and you have no relevance to be coming in trying to get involved in something that somebody else got going on because you're trying to tear it down, or because you're trying to be competitive, or you're trying to make yourself look like you can do it. You can do it better. And this is what is going on. The Bible tells us that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. And, things can seem a little, petty. And sometimes we like just brush it off, the jealousy thing. But you really got to be careful because jealousy, the Bible was warning us, is cruel as the grave. People's lies about you, rooted in jealousy, can actually create real enemies for you out here. So whenever you see any slightest hint of jealousy in a person, and I don't care who the person is, pay attention and watch out. I often observe this in groups of women. And gentlemen, I don't know how you all do it, but when it comes to women, women can be very competitive and jealous, in a way. So it can even be amongst each other within a group of women. You will have, mutual friends. One person is not friends with the other that knows, certain women in the group through one person. And for some reason, they all seem to be, they start to get in some type of competition about, out in the one person that is the mutual party, right? That they're not direct friends with. And it gets me thinking, why? Why can't we all just get along? Like, why do we have to do this? Right? And so sometimes women will act like, we don't need 5 girls. We don't need 3 girls. It's just me and her. Like the 2 little girls on a playground playing together. And the third party friend comes and she wants to play too. And one of the girls is like, no. So she starts to be so possessive of her friend as if they can't share and all play together. And so we have grown adults that are still acting like children. This is what this is. And they have this competitiveness amongst each other. And, the Bible lets us know even a whisper can separate the best of friends. So pay attention when you see a little bit of enviness in people, right? Because jealousy is as cool as the grave. People will even resort to witchcraft. People will resort to sorcery simply because they are jealous of you. People will lie because they're jealous of you. People will make up things about you that are completely false to throw you under the bus, to make people see you in a certain light because they're competing with you. And you will not even be aware that this is even going on in their head. See, when you start to see that little bit of jealousy in a person, just know that people are compromised out here. Demons are speaking in these people's ear, telling them things about you that's not true. And these people are unaware, and they will completely believe the lies that they tell themselves about you in their head. The Pharisees really believed that Jesus was not of God because he healed a blind man on the Sabbath day. But Jesus kept the Sabbath day holy. He kept it more holy than the Pharisees. And it's interesting because, the word Pharisees and the word Pharaoh kind of go hand in hand, right? That Pharisees, Pharaoh. I don't know what relevance that means, but, it comes with some type of oppression, oppressing people. And wonder how this blind man even felt that he was being questioned about who healed him. He didn't care who healed him. He was just happy that he was healed. So can you imagine that? Somebody questioning you, who gave you this $500 to pay this bill? They wasn't supposed to give you this money until next week. How would that make you feel? Now imagine being blind all your life and somebody's questioning you about who healed you, as if something was wrong with what they did to help you. People will get mad when other people help you. People will get mad when other people favor you. People will be competitive, trying to, take those kingdom helpers away from you. And they'll say all kinds of things. All kinds of things. So again, I would love to hear your comments about this message and all of my messages here on this channel. But please do keep it respectful and keep it relevant to the topic, because I am not going to take the blame for another topic that we're not even discussing, right? So if you got this far to this message, I'd like to thank you for watching. I don't forget to hit that like button, and I will be here another day, God willing.